Cobra Kai, the Karate Kid Saga Continues is a surprisingly good side-scrolling beat-em-up video game. If you love games like the Streets of Rage or the TMNT games, you are definitely gonna have a good time with this one. The game is actually based on the American television series called the Cobra Kai, and I'm not familiar with it, but still I'm really enjoying this title for what it is. I've actually just recently jumped into this title and I'm only about 2 hours in so far, so this is not exactly a review. Instead, it is more like a first impressions kind of thing. And my first impressions on this title are actually extremely positive. The looks and presentation are really nice, and the colors, they really pop, and the game has this comic book kind of art style, and everything looks really refreshing and pleasing to the eyes. Then the gameplay itself is actually really good. You've actually got lots of moves. You can kick, you can punch, you can grapple and slam your opponents, or you can beat the living crap out of them. You can do jump attacks, and then you've got special attacks with cooldown meters and whatnot. You've got environmental attacks as well, and then you can use objects such as baseball bats and bottles and whatnot to deal with your enemies. And then you've also got a proper character progression system, something that you don't really expect from a title like this. You get a skill tree, and the game feels really rewarding because of the progression system. And then you also have a dojo, and you can upgrade that as well to learn new moves and stuff. So yeah, there is a ton of content in this title. Then the game also has this party system where, along with the main protagonist, you're gonna have other supporting characters joining you, and you're gonna be able to switch between the characters on the go, and they all have unique move sets and stuff, and it is really fun to constantly switch between the characters and use different moves against the enemies, as it adds a lot of variety to the gameplay. And yeah, you've also got power-ups and stuff like that present in the game as well, which is also really cool. And then the game has amazing enemy variety, and you need to adjust your tactics and strategies based upon the type of enemy you are facing. And one really cool thing is that whenever you run into a new enemy type, the game gives you an entire list of strengths and weaknesses of that enemy for you to figure out how to deal with them. Then the game also has some really cool boss fights, and like I said, I'm only 2 hours in and I've already had a couple of those and I really enjoyed them. You get to choose a difficulty setting right in the beginning. I choose the regular or normal one, whatever it is, and then you get to select from two different story perspectives as well, a Cobra Kai perspective and a Miyagi Do perspective. I have started the story with the Cobra Kai side, but the presence of another perspective along with the progression system means that there is a decent amount of content to go through in this title, and I'm really enjoying it. The game also has co-op support, and I am personally really enjoying the party system, as I am loving the movesets of a guy called Johnny, and he has some really cool moves and stuff. And the ability to switch between party members on the go is fantastic. Movement is actually something that is a bit of a downside. I don't know exactly why, but the movement doesn't feel smooth to me. The combat is really fun and fluid, but the movement, it feels kind of sluggish for some reason, and it's not a major issue, but yeah, it is a bit of a downside. The game world is actually fully 3D, but the movement is restricted to 2.5D, and you cannot attack your enemies diagonally. You have to be like aligned with them in order to attack them, and you can only attack left and right. But that is not something that I have any issues with. I am only not a big fan of the movement system, which doesn't feel fluid. And you also have a dash mechanic, and the game overall is really enjoyable. It is really fun. It is not a masterpiece, but it is a really fun game. This game came out back in 2020 and has already received a sequel called Cobra Kai Dojo's Rising, but it received some really bad reviews, and I personally don't know anything about the sequel. But if you are going with the Cobra Kai game, I would suggest you to go with the first one. This is the kind of game that will help you relax after a busy day at work, and that is something that I love about these games. And yeah, if you're a fan of the Cobra Kai TV series, there is a lot for you to love here. What's your favorite beat 'em up video game? Do let me know down in the comment section, and thank you very much for watching. Peace out.